That is.
Yeah.
Tell me a story.
Once upon a time. This goes back to why we started the podcast, or the reason why I started the podcast. I was working for the general contractor the first time. And then when I moved on after that, I was still interacting with quite a bit of, I don't know, higher net worth people. There was people in business that usually I didn't have access to growing up, and just was able to have certain conversations with them along the way that I really enjoyed. So I got the opportunity to just talk to people because we're in their houses, or talk to builders or whatever, and just pick their brains for a little bit at a time. And there have been some people along the way that, just because they're very kind, generous with their time, they would spend 15, 30 minutes or whatever with me and just answer my questions. And they'd give me like a deep rundown on it. And I honestly loved it. Mm-hmm. So going into real estate, I had two ideas with starting the podcast. One, I did not feel comfortable posting stuff on social media. It felt like that was something I would need to be doing in real estate. And then the second was, I didn't want to lose out on those conversations. So I wanted to be able to sit down with people, have long conversations about, hey, what does it look like in your business, and if there's any stuff that I could pick up from them. Well, I also had this idea at the time, which now I think is kind of funny, but it was to do like open house reviews. So I would go to someone's open house and kind of review the house and all that stuff. So I remember I got my original equipment for it was dirt cheap. It was not this, and cobbled it together. Thinking about it, like, it was crazy that I got this to work off of some Bluetooth mics that were not designed for what I was using it for, but a sound board that was about this big from China that had some misspelled stuff on it. It was nuts. And it all ran to my iPhone, didn't run it off my computer at all. Anyways, I found this house that had an open house about a mile away, and so I went and I stopped by, and there were these two ladies who were holding the open house, and so they asked, like, hey, what brings you in here? Just being very friendly, and just told them, like, hey, here's what I'm doing. And they're like, oh, that's wonderful. Like, they were super excited that I was getting into real estate, all that good stuff. And so they're like, yeah, let us show you this house. They went and toured me around. They're pointing stuff out. It's not just how you typically walk into an open house, like, okay, have fun, come, like, let me know if you have any questions. Like, they're excited to show me this whole thing, and it's off of like 35th and Bell, so it's not like it's some mansion or something special or anything like that. But I ended up talking with these ladies, and they, I forget the brokerage they work with, but I think they did a lot of business in Sun City, and the conversation I had with them, they were just giving me advice, and it was good advice for getting into real estate. One of the things that I remember that really stuck out was, you're going to have a lot of people come to you when you first become an agent and offer you all these things that, like, we'll put you on magnets, we'll put a calendar together for you, we'll put together cards, like all these things. And they're like, ignore those. Don't do those. It's a waste of money. It's a waste of time when you're first starting. Mm-hmm. So they were just talking about, like, make sure, get in the business, get yourself situated, understand what's going on before you start messing around with any of that. So then, I think 2 weeks later, something like that, they're having another open house. And so one of the agents, it's Louise Mead, she calls me and she's like, hey, we're doing an open house. Would you be able to come help me with a video thing for my open house? I'm like, sure. So I did not know what that meant.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if, like, she wanted me to take a video with her or like what it was. So I thought, like, I was going to be on camera or whatever. So I went, and I was looking at getting some shirts for Sledgehammers in the office done. There's a apparel company right up the road from my house. It's called Fully Promoted. So I walk in there not knowing anything, and I'm like, hi, here's what I'm looking to do, all this stuff. And they're like, sure. So they spent quite a bit of time with me. They're pulling out different shirt samples, stuff like that. And they're like, all right, well, like, what do you need this for? And like, I explained to them, and they're like, all right, here's our lead time. It's about 2 weeks. And I was like, oh, okay. They're like, what were you thinking in terms of what you need it for? I was like, and so I explained to them I'm going to this open house thing the next day. So the lady, it's a husband and wife who are running the West Valley store over here. She goes, all right, well, if you come back tomorrow, I'll have a shirt ready for you.
Oh, nice.
So she got a shirt ready for me like overnight, and it was just a single shirt. The left chest had the logo on it, all that stuff, but it was cool. Like, they helped me design the logo, so it was there. Like, it was just the coolest thing, and they went way out of their way to get this done.
Mm-hmm.
So now I go to this open house, and they show me around what they're doing. So I ended up doing, like, I think my next open house review on that one. But then, like, I helped Louise take a video so that she could post it on Facebook, and so it was like, it was just kind of this funny train of events where I met the fully promoted people who do like all the shirts and stuff. So all the shirts we wear, all the hats that people see that we're wearing on the podcast, stuff like that, and that we show up with at the job sites. I still run to them with all my like, hey, can you get the hats? Can you do long sleeves? Can you do mugs? Can you like all kinds of stuff like that? And then at the same time, the agent Louise Mead, she friended me on Facebook, and then for the longest time she's been one of the people where if we post something about the podcast, she always likes it.
Nice.
She always supports it. There's one of the guests that we had on the podcast, she ended up friending that person, and then she would like comment on their stuff. Like, so I posted recently photos from the wedding because we got those back from the photographer, and she sent me an email, and she was like, hey, I just want to say congratulations, and here's a couple throwback pictures. She has pictures from when I first walked into that open house. Like, dude, it's fun.
That's hilarious.
So, but the two people that I mentioned right there, it's whenever I call the apparel people, it's like, hey, this is Thaddeus, and they're always like, yeah, how can we help? Like, I know I'm not ordering the largest quantities, but they treat me like gold over there. And then this lady who had no, like, she could have told me to kick rocks, and she's just been one of those people who's been cheering the entire time, and it's just one of those special things where you get to think back and go, man, that's special.
That's nice. She a little old, she an old lady?
Yeah, she's older, yeah.
Yeah, very good. I feel like my experience with older real estate agents, it's either hot or cold. Nicest people in the world, or they want nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's always fun though, like when you got people who in the background are cheering for you, right? Because like, I don't know, when I was getting my real estate license, there was all kinds of people who were like, oh yeah, I had someone get into it and it didn't work out. They're telling me like these horror stories, why I shouldn't be doing it, all this stuff. But then you've got like the people on the other side who are like, yeah, like go get it. It's like, do your best, try your hand at it. How are things going? Love to hear about it. There's went to a like wedding reception thing on Saturday and saw it's Kevin Finley. He's the third person I interviewed on the podcast. And my dad is friends with him, so he'll see him sporadically. And my dad every once in a while will be like, he'll, after he meets with him, he'd be like, hey, like Kevin's asking how you're doing. He's like, he's rooting for you, all that stuff. So it's just weird as far as like I haven't seen him in 3 years, but like to like Saturday essentially. But the dude is just out there like, hey, you've got it. Like you're gonna go places as long as you keep a level head. Like, so there's just people in the background who are rooting for you, and it's like I was talking to the wife this weekend, just like I really want to be that person for so many people. I do not want to be the person tearing people down. I want to be that person who's like, hey, go get it.
Yeah, there's just, that's what social media is for, is all those people that want to be negative about everything.
Yeah, but then on this side, we've got all the people being positive about it.
Yeah. You gotta keep those kind of people in your life.
Yeah.
You need those.
Do you have any people with that, like the negative and positive, when you're getting into real estate?
No. I mean, nothing that comes off the top of my head. Probably just more of the negative stuff, because that's what, you know, good and bad. Those are some of the ones that you remember. People talking about how hard it is. Like, do you really want to do it? Why are you doing it? Kind of thing.
Do you keep a list?
No, I'm not.
Do you have a special one?
I'm not a serial killer, so.
I'm not a serial killer, but I've got a couple in my head that I remember.
that you want to prove wrong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be standing on the top of the mountain and just be like, I did it.
Yeah, I've never had like that hardcore negativity. You've had people tell you like, "What are you doing?"
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, like close people. Those are usually the ones that do it the most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There's a story I'm saving. Yeah. I don't want to tell it now, but yeah.
Do you ever check on Louise, see how she's doing with her numbers?
No, I don't look at her numbers to see how many she sold recently, but yeah, I know that she posts stuff on Facebook every once in a while to just.
When you helped her on Facebook, did she like just not know how to post it on Facebook, or she just needed somebody to take a video?
I think it was partly maybe partly the confidence, and then partly someone to be like, "Hey, can you just help me walk through this for the first time?"
Nice.
So, yeah, and then she also, I think she recognized too at the beginning to say, a lot of people were doing stuff with podcast, social media, but I think she was just doing her job being a realtor and not necessarily diving fully into that. So here was someone who came along who may have known something, definitely didn't know anything, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I was doing, when I first got into real estate, the first year and a half I was part-time, and I was with Keller Williams, and we had a listing, because I worked with my uncle on his, well, he didn't really have a team at that point, it was just me and him, but we sold the listing, and I did like door knocked on like after we sold it kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a big ass neighborhood, so like I went like over 3 days and hit different sections. Of course, have you ever door knocked?
Yep.
It's not the funnest because people are very mean, you know.
Dude.
And you just try to smile, and it was fucking hot outside.
Yeah.
And there was just one person. I think he was outside doing yard work or something, and I just gave him. I said, "Hey, just to let you know, we sold it, blah 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 blah." And he was like, he's like walking around. You know, houses like that. He's like, "Good for you, dude. Good job." And it made like those 3 days of hell just like, okay, that might have been worth it a little bit. I didn't get anything out of it,
Yeah.
but it made me feel better about having to go door knocking the next time.
Yeah.
Because there are some people that appreciate it. He probably owns a business too.
Yeah.
A lot of the people that are mean are just like, they work 9 to 5. They don't.
Or they kind of tried something.
They tried something, or they want to, and they haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Because all they think about is everything that could go wrong.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
Nice. Shout out Louise.
Yeah. When she sent me that email and the pictures were in there, I was like, oh man.
Have you sent her like a shirt? You need to send her one of the mugs.
Oh, I should.
She definitely drinks coffee, so you gotta send her a mug.
Alright, yeah, I'll definitely do that.
Just go on Monster.
I just got a new order of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. New hats.
Color black.
No, not yet. Their machine was having an issue with black, so they're getting a new machine right now. So the next run of mugs should be black.
I have a coffee mug that says like "Gone Fishing" on it, and it's a guy fishing. But then the handle is like a fish. You should get mugs where the handle is a sledgehammer.
That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that would cost, but
Probably a lot.
yeah.
But my buddy does own a machine shop. He could probably make you a mold that you could just give to somebody to make it for you.
Possibly.
That's the hardest part, is designing the mold and doing it.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
What have you been up to this last week? Nothing.
Yeah, we went to, I took the kids to, there's this, it's called Martin Auto Museum.
Is that like 43rd and Thunderbird?
Mm-hmm. Have you been there?
No, but it's right near my parents' place.
I've always known it's there. I feel like it's been, like, it looked like it was out of business for a while, then came back kind of thing. It's some kind of charity or organization. Like,
It was originally off of the I-17.
Yeah, they moved
And
it.
then they moved it in the last couple of years. Probably
Yeah.
right around COVID.
Yeah, I think what made me go to is that I saw a TikTok video
Yeah.
of somebody going there, and they're saying it was kind of cool for the kids and stuff like that. Because they have a bunch of cool old school cars. I mean, they got like Model Ts, Model A's,
Yeah.
Mustangs. Although my kids, they're like, "Is there a Ferrari?" I was like, "I might be actually," but there's no Ferrari. So they're But there's some cool, and they didn't have an El Camino.
Oh yeah.
That's like, I want one of those real bad. But it's pretty cool because like most of the cars, except for like probably the really nice ones and stuff, they're just roped off. But any car that's unlocked, you can open the door, sit in it, go through it. Yeah, you even have a little like carousel thing for kids. You get somebody to operate it, and then they have like they call it an arcade, but there's like I don't know 6 or 7 games in there, but it's all it's free. So they have like the Cruising USA one, the motorcycle one, another driving one, basketball hoop thing. But a bunch of the video games the kids can play. I mean, I thought I was like, we might have, like, that's like a 45-minute drive for me from BFE, West BFE.
Yeah.
I was like, because we might just be there for like 30 minutes. But we were there for like an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. Because we were going down, the kids were jumping in the cars. Although I had to tell them, like, they had to be careful. Like,
yeah.
A couple times they were slamming it, like, dude, you can't touch the door now. Let me open it for you.
Yeah.
But it was actually pretty cool. Got inside some cool cars.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My grandparents took me to a car show probably when I was 10, and I did not know anything about car shows. I did not know anything about antique cars.
I still don't.
And, well, here's how much I didn't know is don't touch. Because there was an old truck that I remember kind of looking over the tailgate of, and it had the wood back. So I put my hand on the tailgate and knocked on the wood. And apparently my grandparents like, oh! And then some dude was standing up. Like, I didn't scratch it. Like, nothing was scratched. Nothing happened. But, like, all of a sudden I realized, like, oh, like, we're not supposed to touch anything. And I have a problem with things that...
How old are you?
I want to say I was 10.
Okay, that's fine.
So, like, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So, but I don't like going places where it's like, all right, you can look, but just stay behind the red rope or whatever it is. It's like,
especially with kids, because they cannot. It's not in kids' DNA to sit there and not touch something.
Yeah.
So, but no, that was cool.
Yeah.
And it was the first week back at school. They started on a Wednesday though, so it was like half a week. But
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
we did.
You mentioned they were going back to school.
Yeah, well, they got done with it. And the first grader, he's got a little anxiety. He doesn't like. I don't think he doesn't like the unknown.
Okay.
So he has to know everything. So of course he cried.
Did you end up having a good time though?
Yeah, he's like he's fine now, but it's just like in kindergarten, you went to the kindergarten gate and there was like the helpers there that would take them, help them put their stuff away. They would go to the kindergarten playground, but now they're going into the big one with everybody. So like the first 2 days he didn't really know what to expect, so he did. So I had to walk him up there, kind of thing. But luckily he's got an older brother that held his hand and took him over there. Now he's fine. Other than I feel like every other day at school he's been getting nosebleeds.
Is he getting in fights? Is he starting a fight club?
No, but he would be the one to do it if any of them. You bringing Nats in here again?
Apparently.
But yeah, that was my weekend.
Nice. I had a couple birthdays that we celebrated last week. My friend Bobby and then my brother. So went out to dinner one night, and then my brother, he does powerlifting. So this was just a goal he was chasing. He wanted to hit a 585 deadlift, and he had been training up to it for his birthday. So on his birthday, went over to his house. We had a little deadlift party, and
how many plates is that?
6 plates
on each side.
Yeah. So it's heavy.
That's about like yeah. Because at that point in time, you can't use all the rubber plates. You gotta use
they're
the small
steel
ones. Yeah.
So he had.
Did he get it?
Oh yeah. So it was a fight, but he got it. He's been training up to it. So.
Did he wear like the knee wraps and everything?
No.
No.
Yeah, he just had a belt, and that was it. Belt, chalk, and yanked it off the ground.
I feel like I would have to do. Just because I feel like my knees would pop out. I have bad knees.
Well, also you should probably not start with 585.
No. I never really lifted heavy until I got older.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was cool when I did 3 plates.
Yeah.
Also, my body's not built for bodybuilding though.
That's powerlifting, but yeah.
Or any kind of Olympic lifts. Just because
it's not Olympic lifts, but yeah.
Okay, in my mind, like main lifts. That's what I think of when I say that.
Compound lifts.
Yeah, just because I have a short torso, and I have long legs and arms. So bench press is always harder. Squat, I feel like I'm going down forever. I don't mind deadlifting.
Deadlift shouldn't be bad if you got those long arms, short core stuff.
It's probably one of the only ones that doesn't feel like awful when I actually enjoy doing it.
Yeah. There you go. So, and then, like I mentioned, over the weekend, there's a family friend that he got married a month or two ago in Michigan, and they came to Arizona because a lot of their family's here, so they did like a reception thing at his parents' house. So, got to see a lot of people, got to talk to them, and so it was good to see them. And then Sunday, kind of just hung out with the wife, and was like, all right, it's been a busy week. Let's just chill. So it was nice. But other than that, not too much.
Yeah, I got to play basketball. First time in like a couple months.
You play flag football too?
Yeah, I attempted
abuse bruise?
Yeah.
You want to show the camera?
Offensive line? Well, this is actually like 3 weeks. It was way worse. It was nasty. It was pretty ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, I kept telling the guys on the defensive line, it's not good to run through brick walls. I mean, I played flag football for a while. It's fun, and it's like not the we play in like it's a bunch of Joe Schmo. We play in like the BC, like the team I played with when I started. Like at halftime, everybody would like smoke a cigarette. Like those are the kind of people, you know. Like we're not in the. Some of the people like Austin who played college football. Like they got play call. They call audibles and shit at the line.
Like Steve.
Yeah, just like stupid stuff.
Dude, you weren't on our team for the Thanksgiving one, right? Because Steve, we drew up, we had plays and all that.
Yeah, I was on. Yeah,
we were on the same team.
Yeah, we were on the same team. Yeah, Steve
okay.
had it. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got all the flashcards and all that stuff. That was hilarious. That was a lot of fun.
Exactly. But my years playing, everybody wants to be a wide receiver because they think they can catch and stuff. 90% of people are awful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like battling. Like I don't give a fuck if you throw me the ball or not.
Mm-hmm.
You should, but so I just play offensive line. It's way more fun. And plus, half the time you go out for a pass anyways.
Yeah.
So
get a little quick dump off pass and move on.
Yeah, it's fun.
Dude, football's getting ready to start again. Preseason's kicking off.
I know, right in the middle of fantasy football draft season.
In the middle of fantasy football draft season?
Mm-hmm.
How long is fantasy football draft season?
Literally, I don't know. Depends if you're in a dynasty league or not. It goes year round.
But okay,
I mean, it's dynasty leagues. You draft.
Is
the
draft
concept.
done? Yeah, but is the draft done?
So
I thought you were drafting players 3 weeks ago.
Well, a dynasty league is you draft players. The league's over.
Mm-hmm.
The season's over. But everybody in the league, you keep your same exact team, and then after the NFL draft, you do a rookie only draft.
Okay.
So it's more. That's what we call it, a dynasty. It's more like
this is your team. Like you're an owner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's super nerd stuff. But once preseason starts, people who play, they call them. I forget what they're called. But the office league that we're in, where it just resets every year, those start about now. I have too many. I'm in about 12 leagues.
Oh dear God.
Yeah. I did well for a while. Shit, I've probably been doing this since 2010.
How many?
Probably more. 2000 before I graduated high school, so 2006 or 5. And one of the leagues we're in is from college, so we've been doing it since 2009, and probably 90% of the people are still in the league.
Dang.
Yeah, it's been a while. Well, the people I played flag football with, was it high school? I was right out of high school. Friend on Facebook says, "Hey, we need an extra for flag football." I wasn't doing anything. I think I had a girlfriend at the time that went to U of A, and I was like, "Dude, I'll play." Well, he ended up tearing his hamstring, and I played with him. And then they're like, "Hey, you want to keep playing with us?" And so I met them playing flag football, and then now I'm in 3 fantasy football leagues with them. I've yet to sell anybody's house from this, but it's been fun. But I think last year was the first year where I didn't break even.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Because I probably spent like $400+ in like the fees and shit like that. It was the first year. It wasn't very good. Probably because I didn't put time into it because I was actually working. It's another full-time job, dude.
When I was with the window and door company, we had the Sirius XM and the trucks, and it'd be hilarious because you got the sports channels, right? But then you have the fantasy football channels, and all these dudes are talking about is the fantasy football. Who do we think is going to get the most points? Who do you want to try and trade for? Who do you want to put? I'm like,
yeah, I listened to a podcast.
Really?
Yeah, fantasy footballers. They're actually local too. They're from Arizona.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's awesome.
They're older than me. I think they started years and years ago. They just randomly for their like 10-team fantasy league. They started a podcast to talk trash about other teammates, and then it just grew.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah. What was it? You never seen the league? They made an entire like 3-season series on like this group of guys where they're like friends and they do fantasy football. It's fucking hilarious, dude. It's very raunchy too.
The amount of commitment you have to those things is nuts. Cause
way too much.
That's why I don't play. I love to show up on Sunday, watch the Cardinals, and then maybe Sunday night football. But other than that, it's like I'll listen to my I'll listen to the Pat McAfee show during the week while I work. So like I stay up to date on stuff, but I'm not checking guys' stats or anything like that. So there's no reason for me to play. And then I see like half the people in my family will get together and do a league, and then they end up by week 8 that, oh man, I missed an adjustment, so I had someone on the bench that scored like 100 points. It's just like, all right, guys, whatever. Like,
yeah, I went so hardcore for a while. I don't have I know most of the players, but yeah, I don't know how long I'll be able to do it again because it's too much time. You gotta keep up with people,
especially if you're doing 12.
Yeah, and some of these people are like, they watch college football. I don't really watch college football. They watch college football, so they know all these rookies coming in, like how good they are.
Yeah.
So like, I listen to my podcast, so like I literally just like whatever they say goes. Or like these people have their own fucking notes, their own rankings. It can get nuts,
dude. That's cool though.
And you can win a lot of money.
How much?
Well, I mean, like now with like FanDuel.
Oh yeah.
It's called Underdog, something.
DraftKings,
yeah. I mean, you can do sports bet, but they also have the fantasy one. You can play daily fantasy.
Yeah.
It's called Underdog. Where it's one where you you draft a team, and then because you draft, your starting lineup, then you have bench spots, and you have to pick who plays. But like in their leagues, if you just do the draft, and then they automatically set the lineup, so whoever scores the most possible points for whatever lineup you have, that's how like you draft and set it and leave it. But there's leagues and stuff where you can win like $3 million. I mean, that's just gambling, essentially. Long-term gambling.
Dude, 2 years ago, when sports gambling became legal in Arizona, I don't mess around with large sums of money gambling in any way, shape, or form. But the way I gamble is like I'll bet like $1 at a time, and if I'm feeling like, oh, this is a good one, I'll put like $5 down. I went from like a $10 account up to around $200 within a year. I was like, I'm getting pretty good at this. So
imagine if that was $100.
Right.
You'd be sitting at like $200K.
Wouldn't it?
Right. $10 would be $20 grand.
No.
$100 would be.
Just multiply by 20.
If you 100 times your bet. I guess that's not 100 times.
Yeah, so just 20.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. And when they first came out here, of course, you have all like you get the free bets.
Dude, that's how I made money off of some of them.
I signed up. I literally have an account for every single one because I wanted the free bets.
Yeah, I just got FanDuel.
I think on MGM you had like a free $300 bet.
Yeah. And
I was actually in Vegas at the time, and I used the free $300 bet into like a 4-team parlay or whatever. and I won $1,800 on it.
Ooh.
And the kicker was that I think it was week 1 or week 2. Cardinals was it last? No, it was 2 years ago. Cardinals were playing the Vikings.
Yeah.
This is when the Cardinals were like
Coming out the
actually
gates
supposed
hot.
to be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
how we start the season hot and then just
exactly.
die.
So what was it? I was like falling asleep on the. There was 2 different games, the Dallas game or whatever. So like, and I was falling asleep on the bed because it was like the last day we were there.
Mm-hmm.
And Dallas, I'm like falling asleep, and it's the drive, and I wake up and I see Dallas. They kick a field goal, and they end up winning by like 4 or something like that. And I had the spread was like 3, and then 20 minutes. Then the Cardinals game was coming down to it. I think the Cardinals would win. They were underdogs.
Mm-hmm.
They were up by 1 point, and fucking Minnesota's driving down the field. They get to the 20-yard line, can't get in the end zone. Fucking 1 second left, kicking a field goal. I'm like, fuck. Dude kicks it wide right, and Cardinals win the game. And I just fucking woke up from like falling asleep. Just let's go. I was so excited.
Should we do weekly gambling for the podcast when the regular season starts?
Our picks?
Yeah, just do we could do 1 or 2 picks a week and just say, hey, here's what we're riding on.
Done.
I'm down. I'll throw money on it. I don't know if that's illegal or something. I'll let someone else tell us.
No, you can. There's a fucking betting It's legal now. There's podcasts. You can.
We're not going to suggest anything for anyone. We're just going to tell you what we're doing.
One of the guys that I used to play basketball with, he was next door neighbors of this famous person. I think I told you before. One of the guys I used to play basketball with. But he's neighbors, and he's just like average Joe. Not even that good at basketball, but we were talking. And this is before it was legal. But he used to have a website, and he would people would pay money to subscribe to him, and they would give him on his picks and stuff. And he used to fly to Vegas once or twice a week because he also betted. He put his own money on there too, and that's how he lives in Scottsdale next to fucking famous people. He literally bets money.
That's insane.
And people pay for his expertise on what his picks are and stuff.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Well, you've got people playing picks for the stock market, so I mean, why not?
Mm-hmm.
That's insane, though. All right, ready to do this?
Yep, let's get hammered.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sledgehammers The Office podcast, where we celebrate the heavy hitters on the job site and in the office. Today, I am joined by Mason Oxendale. What are we drinking, sir?
My flavored water. I do not have my advertisement. Mio Energy.
I was going to say, we can still say their names.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as always, Shamrock Farms chocolate milk, the whole milk, because that is the drink of choice. All right, let's jump into our numbers for the week. These are going to be active and closed numbers for the greater Phoenix area, along with some building materials that we track. So active for the greater Phoenix area, we've got 8,255. This is up 172 from last month. Closed in the last 30 days, 4,417. This is actually a pretty significant drop from what we've been tracking. That is down 632. The interest rate is 7.26%. That's the highest that we've seen since we've been tracking this. 2x4s are at $3.53. That's up 28 cents, so not a huge margin on that. Plywood is at $23.50, up $6.75 from last month. Copper pipe, half-inch, 10-foot copper pipe, $27.81. That's the same. So, quick thoughts on active and closed inventory. Actives up a bit, closed dropped over 500. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're just starting to see the market, level off a little bit. Because I think it was 2 weeks ago, it was up a couple. It's just so now it's going up and down,
Yeah.
Up, down,
this is the
first.
Isn't this the first time though that we've seen it below 5,000 essentially, or maybe it was just a hair under last week?
Below 5,000 what?
Closed homes in a month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which, like we've talked about though, when you're closing 4,400 a month and you've got 8,200 active, I mean, you can't complain about that too much. That ratio right there is pretty skewed.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, we haven't. Usually we've had a lot more closings.
Yeah.
Uh,
Interest rate doesn't help. It keeps going up.
yeah, that will not help at all.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so we'll see. I track them more weekly. Excuse me. But I mean, yeah, I'm curious to see, since it's been a while since we've only had this many closed. So I'm curious to see where that trend starts to go.
Yeah. And then on the building numbers that we've been tracking, I was talking to a friend earlier today about the building prices, and he was like, man, we've got some price gouging going on. I was like, well, not really, because before COVID, we had plywood that you could get for about $12 a sheet. Earlier this year, we had plywood that you could get $12 a sheet, but now, once again, we're up to $23.50, and that's up $6.75 from last month. So if we do